What's up, War Report family? Your man Ike Jones here, man. I'm doing this a little different today. Normally, I do the Prize Pick segment pre-recorded, but I just wanted to get in here with you all really quickly, man. I missed the last one. I was traveling, so y'all know how it goes down, man. This is not my full-time job. None of our full-time jobs, man. Just trying to get it in, but we are under an hour away from tip-off against South Carolina, and we are just going to do a quick preview of the game with y'all. Whoever wants to jump in here, say what's up, man. But we are going to do this Prize Pick style, so I am going to take a look at what we can do from the fantasy side here in just a minute. But just wanted to get in here and chop it up with my fam because I missed the last Wednesday show. I didn't get in on the pregame with Prize Picks, man. So this is just my opportunity to hop in here and talk with y'all. How are you all feeling about where Auburn basketball is right now? Congrats to the team on at least a share of the regular season title in basketball right now, going for the thing outright today against South Carolina. So hopefully we will be able to do some wonderful things in this game and make that happen. But before we get into today's game and chopping it up with you all about that, we do have to take a look back at what happened in the last one I was able to pick. So this is not going to be about Mississippi State. It's going to be about Tennessee. But we are going to talk about what happened Prize Pick style against Tennessee, man. So shout out to our sponsor, prizepicks.com, for sponsoring our daily fantasy here. Just taking a look at what happened in the Tennessee game and what happened with my picks. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come away with the dub on that one. But we did have Vescovi with less than 2.5 3-pointers made in that game. He only made 2, so he had to hit one more in order for me to miss on that one. Jabari Smith Jr. did do his thing on the rebound, 6.5 there. Walker Kessler, we will definitely talk about him in just a minute. Under 9 rebounds in the Tennessee game. That is the game where he got injured, dealing with that injury right now. And then we've got Wendell Green Jr. not able to come up with it on points, rebounds, and assists in that game. So ended up not being a successful card for me on my 4-play that I had there, my 4-pick card. But, we're trying to get back right today with Prize Picks in just a minute. But yeah, hop in here real quick, man. Let's talk about the game. Talk about what your expectations are. Today, we have South Carolina coming to town, a team that's been hot of late, right? Like South Carolina has won, I think, 6 of their last 7 games, and not going to be an easy out. Was not completely an easy out the first time traveling up to South Carolina in Columbia. Auburn struggled early in that game, was able to go ahead and put it away late, but anticipating something similar in this game as we're working through situations with Walker Kessler and his injury and trying to find the right rotations. We'll definitely get more into that Mississippi State game Sunday. So if you are not a frequent person who's here with the War Report, we are going to be going live tomorrow, talking more in depth about Mississippi State and what happened in that game, breaking down this game a little bit more. We might not get into Mississippi State as much since it is the game away from this one, so South Carolina will probably be the focus. So this is a good time for us to talk Mississippi State and what happened in that game. Auburn was up pretty big at the half, and then pretty much just let that lead dwindle away. A lot of the things that we've seen characteristically, unfortunately, from the Auburn basketball team of inability to make shots in stretches throughout games, reared its ugly head again in the Mississippi State game. Mississippi State was able to put a good run together, close the gap, eventually take the lead, and looked like they had the game under control until Auburn made a late surge, and Jabari Smith hits a turnaround, or excuse me, it's more of a pull-up jumper. No, it was still a turnaround situation from the wing. With under a minute left to tie that basketball game up. We got a good defensive stop and ability to close that game out in regulation. And then again, another characteristic thing that has happened with this team is an inability to get good shots late. So right coming into what we were at the end of the game, that final possession just wasn't. It was not pretty. There is a thought about Bruce Pearl's reluctance to take timeouts in those scenarios and set up some sort of play. He's done it in some, he has not done it in others, and just kind of allowing them to play through those things. It ended up working out in our favor as Auburn fans, because in overtime, Katie Johnson came through, and he was a wrecking ball, a one-man wrecking crew. We scored more in the 5-minute overtime period than we did in all of the second half of the Mississippi State game, which is crazy. But Katie Johnson largely responsible from an output standpoint offensively, locked it down defensively, forcing Mississippi State into some bad shots. And then, of course, Jabari Smith with the emphatic dunk to cap off the overtime victory. giving Auburn a share of the SEC title in the regular season right now, fighting for number one seeding right now in the SEC tournament, which will be coming up next weekend in Tampa, which we, the War Report, will be on site down there covering those games. So let me know in the comments section how you are feeling about today's game and the prospects of today's game. And we will get over here straight into Prize Picks and start putting this board together so we can lock in a card. If you are not already, you need to be using code REPORT and signing up on prizepicks.com. Let's go ahead and pull the site up here. Prize Picks, man, y'all know how we get down, man. We're using Prize Picks to do our daily fantasy, and we are going to jump in here and make some selections live today and just talk through what we have available here. But prizepicks.com, if you want to go ahead and sign up and it's your first time, just make sure you're using code RAPPORT when you do that. So head over to prizepicks.com. The link will be down in the description of the video for you to be able to do that. But prizepicks.com is where you want to go to do daily fantasy. They've got some great things going on right now for college baseball, actually. So if you are a college baseball fan and you want to continue what's going on right now with Prize Picks, you can do this great thing about runs allowed in the inning. So they have a new thing that they're doing right now where you can select how inning to inning you have opportunities to do different props of how many runs you think that pitcher is going to allow during that inning. So it's a great way to be able to be engaged during the game in that way. So just head over to prizepicks.com, use code REPORT if it's your first time signing up, and you'll be able to get a price match from Prize Picks for that. Anyway, let's get into today's game. You know how we do it on Prize Picks. We are going to start with South Carolina and see what we have available. Really, the difference in this game, and you see the countdown coming in here for us to be able to get these picks in, has been the emergence of Jermaine Cousinard. Or Cousinard, I think is how you pronounce the name. Excuse me if I pronounce the name wrong, but Cousinard, I think is the correct way to pronounce it. But he has been the difference in South Carolina, him being a go-to guy for them. So the question here is, can Auburn limit his effectiveness in this game? The things that we have here available for him are 12.5 points. If you've seen me go through this before, you can actually look at his point totals recently and see how he's been averaging 18.5 over this stretch where South Carolina has been winning recently. So the question that you got to ask yourself is, can Auburn keep him under 13 points in this game? I think that it's going to be difficult to do that. So I am going to add him to my card here. And then let's see what we've got going on from the Auburn standpoint that's available. Jabari Smith here, 18.5 points. Bob, I see you jumping in here. War Eagle to you and happy Saturday. Glad to see you jump in here on the live. Jabari Smith, 18.5 points is the prop here. I think we are going to have to see a big game from Jabari because, as we mentioned earlier, Walker Kessler is going to likely be limited in this game in his effectiveness. He'll probably play minutes, but he is battling through a shoulder injury that he incurred during the Tennessee game. So you're going to need more from Jabari Smith just in terms of his ability to do a lot of things, which is impact both ends of the floor. Jabari Smith Jr., not the shot blocker that Walker Kessler is, but who is in the country. But he can be an effective person to bother shots, and he's going to have to play big minutes for us. 18.5 points. As you can see, his output most recently, he's averaging over the last 5 games an obscene amount of points. I think it's a safe bet to say Jabari continues in that vein because he's going to be someone who is going to want to win this outright title, get that number 1 seed. Bruce Pearl already said in his press conference that is the goal for this team. They're not trying to take the day off and rest on their laurels. They want that number 1 seeding, and they want the number 1 seed going into the NCAAs. A good way to be able to do that is to go ahead and lock up the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament and just have that bye so that you can get into the later rounds just from the fact that you have the bye. And get better seeding for whatever opponent that you're going to be going against. So I think I'm going to stick with Jabari on points in this one. The points, rebound, assist one is attractive there because I do think that they're going to be playing ball through Jabari today, but I'm just going to stick with it on the points. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to get it on these rebounds as well. The rebounds is probably the better selection, but I just want Jabari to be able to do well on those points, so I think I'm going to go there. Then I agree. Bob Williams says, let's outright win this season championship and cement that number 1 SEC tourney seed. 100% think that is the route this team is focused on here. The other one that I'm considering doing, I'm staying away from Walker Kessler on this one. I think it's a safe bet that he's going to play minutes. And honestly, taking the under for him on something like points is not a bad thing to add to your card if you wanted to be able to do that. But the other one I think that is going to be interesting for Auburn is going to be Wendell Green Jr. And I think the number to look at for him is going to be 3-pointers made. He struggled with that on the road, but at home, him getting to 2 3-pointers, I think, is a good proposition to be able to go with. So I think I am going to go with Wendell on that one. And we're going to stick with a 3-play with those 3 things. I'm going to go over on all of these just because I do think Cuisinart is going to have a game that is going to be good enough to get him to 13 points. This is a situation where South Carolina is a bubble team. They need a good response in this game, and they actually need this win to be able to get into the NCAA tournament. So I think that they're going to come out guns blazing, and Cuisinart is going to be a huge emphasis for that team. To try to get him involved and therefore get involved with some of the other players on the team. They've got good shooting on the outside, and he provides the stability of just being able to give him the ball and go get a bucket type of guy. So I am going to take the over on all 3 of those and I'm going to stick with my flex play on this one. To lock that in, I'm going to go ahead and lock that entry in. And we are good to go on our Prize Picks segment, man. That's all we need to do. So again, prizepicks.com is where you can go. You can go in and put in your own cards for today. Let me know what you decided to do with yours down there in the comments. If you're here chatting live, I'd love to see if you have some different props that you're going after, or if there are other games that you're looking at that you want to be able to get involved with. Let me know. Definitely interested in seeing what you all have come up with. But that's it, man. That's all that we have to do here on prizepicks.com. If you have not already, make sure you go ahead and click the like button on this. This is probably going to be a part of our game day situation as we get into football season. Let me know how you like this. Did you like it live? Did you like it better when I was doing it pre-recorded? What are your feelings on the Prize Pick segment? We'll get more into this stuff as we kind of figure out what the dynamic of the thing should be for you all as the viewer, what experience you like better. I want to talk more about these games, and hopefully I'll get some other people in here to just have discussions about the pregame and preview the game. But we'll get more into this stuff as we learn and grow in our experiences with this, man. But I appreciate you all checking us out, and we will be back soon. Click the like button on this video. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel so that you can stay abreast of everything that's going on, and you never know when we're going to go live, man. So that notification bell is your friend. Outside of that, man, you need to hit us up on all of our social media. We are the War Rapport on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it, man. I am signing off, Bob. I appreciate you locking in here with me. As always, War Eagle, War Rapport out. We will see you all game time.